everyone, this is Jane Green and you're watching Crash Course World History. Today we're going to be talking about English colonization of the Caribbean and the effects that it had on the native people. When examining the Caribbean before and after English colonization, there are several changes and continuities. Changes include the use of their plantation system and the importation of slaves. Some continuities include the use of a social structure and the organization of a basic political system. During the pre-Columbian era, the Caribbean islands were occupied by indigenous Amerindians. They were politically organized into villages and chieftains. A major change occurred when the English arrived. Unlike Spain, England did not want to conquer the native population but wanted to set up trade with them. After colonization, governors are put in charge of the colonies. Today, most former English colonies have a political system modeled after the British one. Several former Caribbean colonies are also part of the Commonwealth. Prior to English colonization, the indigenous Caribbean people were hunters and gatherers. Fishing was very important. The native people had no beasts of burden, wheels, or metal. They created fish hooks and other tools from shell. They were also skilled canoe makers. After colonization, the British established plantations, relying on indigenous labor and slave labor from Africa. After the failure of tobacco, sugar was introduced to the British colonies by the Dutch. Even today, sugar is a huge commodity of the Caribbean. Society was organized around family and extended family. Each village had a headman to represent them. The position was hereditary and could be passed to a woman. The division of labor was based on age and gender. Men would prepare the land and defend the village, where a woman would cultivate crops and take care of the children. The social hierarchy during colonization was one in which natives and black slaves were subordinate to their white oppressors. The indigenous people had polytheistic religions. The religions could be quite animistic in that they believed in the power of nature. They had special rituals and ceremonies to ward off evil. The religion also consisted of body paint and traditional dances. Caribbean religions changed a lot with European arrival. Along with their traditional worship, there was also Christianity from Europe and Islam and tribal religions from Africa. The Europeans brought evangelists and missionaries to convert the natives, who they thought of as savages. The slaves and natives were forcibly converted to Christianity. Okay, let's go to the thought bubble. So I bet you've heard of Pirates of the Caribbean. And no, I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp movie, but about actual pirates of the Caribbean. You see, all of the wealth that was being shipped between Europe and the New World caught the attention of some very shady characters. In fact, the English colony of Barbados was the top hangout for pirates. One of the most famous pirates was a woman named Anne Bonny, an Irish woman. She got into the pirate life by scoodly pooping with Calico Jack, who commanded a huge sloop, which terrorized the Caribbean. Anne Bonny was known to be tough and hardcore. In fact, her last words to Calico Jack before his execution were, "Sorry to see him there, but if he had fought like a man, he need not have been hanged like a dog." So I bet you're wondering why I'm telling you all this. I mean, why does it matter? Why do we care? Well, I'll tell you about how this matters in the big picture and how it has affected world history. The language, religion, political system, and demographics of the Caribbean can all be traced back to European colonies. Areas settled by the British, such as Barbados and St. Kitts, still follow English government systems and look to the Queen as head of state. People in Barbados still live in chattel houses that were used by slaves. The crops introduced by the English, such as sugarcane, play a very large part in the economy of the Caribbean. The Caribbean has a distinct, unique blend of traditional African and European culture. The British may have left the Caribbean a few decades ago, but their spheres of influence continue to impact the region. Well, would you look at that? It's time for the open letter, but first let's see what's in the secret compartment. Look, it's an eye patch to commemorate Anne Bonny and the other pirates who wreaked havoc on the English colonies in the Caribbean. An open letter to Nanny of the Maroons. Queen Nanny, did you know that you've been declared a national Jamaican hero and have your picture on the 500 Jamaican dollar bill? I guess organizing plans and leading rebellions to free over 800 slaves is pretty good for your street cred. I mean, you were so great that the British governor himself had to sign a treaty with you because you were so unstoppable. Best wishes, Jane Green.